Hey everybody, welcome back to Wilson Builds. If you're new here, I'm Zach. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're returning, thank you for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. In today's episode, we are back on the 1948 Mercury truck build, and we are tackling something that's pretty important to the build, and that is the brakes. So in front of me here, I have my Firewall mount power brake booster from Performance Online, and I am really looking forward to put this in. I love these setups, so let's get into the video. Alright guys, as I stated in the intro, this is our Firewall mount power brake booster kit, and this specific kit from Performance Online caters to 1948 to 1952 Ford F1 trucks. And if you don't know already, the Ford F-Series trucks of the same year, Mercury trucks, are pretty much identical. The only real differences is usually the grille, trim, tailgate, a couple interior pieces, but overall the bodies are identical, so this should be a walk in the park. I've used these kits once before. I was going to say a couple times, but that'd be a lie. I used it on my 1955 Chev pickup, and the beauty about Performance Online is you can get a couple different ranges and styles of these conversion kits. On my 55 Chevy, I have the Wilwood master cylinder and has a chrome booster. This is a little bit more of an inexpensive version, and it's just kind of your run-of-the-mill booster and master cylinder. That being said, I still think it's really good quality. You still get the same brake pedal mounting kit. It's, this is the same one that comes with the expensive one, and that is kind of the nice piece that will be in the cab and visible. So historically on the Ford and Mercury trucks, our brake and clutch pedal would have a little slot in this panel when it is filled. That being said, when I bought this truck, it already had a Firewall mount clutch and brake system. I immediately took that out because for me it just looked terrible and it was put in really bad, but that is what it is. However, our new braking system has a really large surface to mount, so we do have a little bit of play side to side and up and down. However, we might need to fill these holes so we can make an actual proper flat mounting surface for our new system on the other side of the Firewall. And we also have to keep in mind that these beads come out on the engine bay side of the Firewall, so we can't mount it near here or it might make it uneven and in turn unsafe. So we're gonna have to find a decent spot where we can mount this, where it's going to be okay for this side and for the booster side. So as you can see, Performance World gives you a nice bracket that we can take and put on the Firewall to see where our safe spots are. So as you can see, the beads here, if we put it there or there, it would not work. So we have to find a flat area within here that also gives us enough space at the top and bottom to allow the booster to be bolted flat onto the Firewall. You can also notice all the holes that we'll no longer need. I already started this side and made it flat. Obviously we're gonna have to put a little bit of body filler in here and smooth it all out, but I feel like it'll look much better. We have one main hole for anything we need to bring into here, and of course we could probably put another one on this side and just put a grommet in it and call it a day. So I found a decent spot to start, and that is right here. We have lots of space on the top, lots of space on the bottom, so we know our booster won't make contact with the ribs that are poking forward on the Firewall. We also have 1, 2, 3, 4 holes available without hitting any of the pre-existing holes, and then when we hole saw this area, it's going to actually remove one of the pre-existing holes, so we won't have to fill it. So I think the only thing now is we have to take these reference little holes, and I'll probably drill just micro holes so we can reference it on the inside and see if our pedal is going to hit our steering column at all. So it's really awkward holding this up while showing you guys if I was sitting here, it would block the camera. Anyways, forgive me if I drop this, but let's put this up to the mounting holes like so. And obviously you can see we have a good amount of clearance between the brake lever and the steering column. So I'm happy with that. We can start drilling the bigger holes now and starting the mounting process. All right, so I just drilled the lower holes for our mounting bracket, and now we can take it back off, go into the engine bay, take our template, bolt the template to it, and then use our hole saw to drill our big hole. All right, so it's in, the hole is cut, so we can start filling all the miscellaneous holes on the firewall now, so we can officially kind of finish that, put that in. So I'm just going to clean just the area that our master cylinder and booster are going, because I would just like to paint it. I'm not going to overly worry about the bodywork. This is all smoothed out, so it looks totally fine. We'll paint probably, you know, a decent radius around it, and then we'll come back and make everything else look really good another day, and likely not in this video. So I took the master cylinder off and put a coat of paint on it, and it's much easier to install without the master cylinder being on it anyways. So let's get this in the spot we want it. Oop. I'm gonna put one bolt in it. So everything within the kit is now installed, and now we can start running our brake lines. So I have to go buy some brake lines, so that might happen tomorrow, but as soon as we get them, we'll start doing the front brakes and go to the rear brakes. Should be pretty simple. And then the nice thing about having the brake lines done, all we have to do is finish the exhaust, mount the rear shocks, and we can put the box back on, and then it's gonna start feeling like more of a truck. Okay, let's start making our brake lines. So I think we're gonna start on the furthest side and move over. I already have the soft line mounted, so we don't have to worry about that. All we have to worry about is getting the two sides to this junction here. And then we'll make our line from here, curve into the frame and go straight up, make a hard upward turn to our booster, or to our proportion valve. Anyway. I think we're gonna bring it past this, underneath, kind of go down and run along the bottom corner of this frame, because at the front where our transmission mount was, there is a hole going through it, so that should be okay. Now it's just figuring out exactly kind of how to do that, because we're gonna have to do a couple bends here. So I might, well, let's just mock it up here. Do I even need to do many bends? I don't think I do. know, if I can stay away from bends, that's perfect, because it's much easier to route this when it's not bent. But definitely, you know, some minor bends we can probably do with our hands here, like so. So there's that. And then we just need one going down to the frame, like so. Okay, so we have our little Performance World tee. I use these in a lot of builds because they're aesthetically pleasing. I mean, you can always just go and get the little brass block ones, and they seem to work okay, but they just look like blocks. These are kind of nice, they're polished, and they do the job pretty well. So we got to figure out where to mount this, where we can have our down line, our side line, and then our forward line going over to the right and to our right brake caliper. So I think I want to kind of mount it probably right kind of in line with this shock mount, and that will give us a lot of room to have one to go up, one to go to here, and one to go to the front. So I'm just gonna drill a hole right there. So our T is in now. Now we have to connect our master cylinder proportioning valve down to our T, and then our T's to our soft lines going to our calipers. So I'm in a bit of a predicament because I don't know whether to use this one to go to this or this one to go to this. This I could probably just do you know, a right angle and then another right angle and fit it into here, because I think it's going to be too sharp if I go straight to here. However, I could also move this slightly and have it like this, but I think it'll be better if we just rock it here. So that answers my question. Talking to myself out loud and talking to you guys. So we're gonna go from here, we're gonna right angle it, and then another right angle back into there. All the lines are kind of mocked out, we can go put our threaded ends on them. So I'll be right back. All right, the brake lines are all completed. As you can see, our rear one curves down there, goes underneath the frame rails, all the way to the back, and we have our front little coil into our T, one into the driver's side, one into the passenger side, put our clamps. So I'm really happy with how it's turning out. It looks clean, and I think it's gonna look good when the motor's in. All right guys, so the last thing we have left to do is bleed these brakes. And I'm not gonna do that today because I'm the only one here and it's a little challenging if you don't have the fancy tool to do it. So I'm gonna call the video there. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video today. I really enjoyed making it. Having the brakes done is huge. It's just one step closer to having this thing finished, as it is safe to stop now. So the next thing on the Mercury, which you'll see probably in a video right after this, is putting the motor in and getting everything else set up. So we're making some pretty big strides, and I really thank you guys for tuning in to this build. I know it's pretty popular among you guys watching, so I'll continue to try to put out a regular video of the Mercury, but we still have a lot to do on the Roadster. And we have another project that eventually will be revealed. I'm just editing the video and kind of making everything work right now. So stay tuned for that. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, and don't be afraid to hit that notifications button so you know when we're uploading. That would be huge. It takes a few seconds, and it really helps build the channel and really motivates me to keep making these videos for you guys. And I really appreciate all you guys out there sharing my video. There's a couple people reaching out saying they've shared it to their friends and their family, so I really appreciate that. That's huge. That being said, I think that's all we have to say for the video. Super stoked it's done. Super stoked where we got to. This Mercury is going to be pretty cool. Anyways, guys, we'll see you on the next video of Wilson Builds, and thanks again for tuning in.